What you're about to see is a recording, well, more like a recreation of my second round battle at the Australian 2013 VGC Qualifier event. Yeah, for the first time in, well, since the VGC started, Australia actually had VGC events, but first they held qualifiers all over the country. I didn't really get all that far. I lost in the second round. However, I was still completely satisfied because the way I lost, seriously, I could not have had a better battle. This battle was amazing, seriously. Just really, really fantastic. So I kind of wanted to share it because it was pretty awesome. Now, originally, I didn't really know how I could. I had saved the battle video, but recording off the DS screen with a camcorder just results in pretty crap quality. And then I found out about a site called PokerCheck. Now, normally I was a little bit iffy about this because I thought it was one of those fake GTS services that I am completely against. But it turns out it's actually kind of interesting. Basically, you can enter the number of any battle video that you've uploaded to the Nintendo Wi-Fi servers. And it'll get the video, and not only will it give you a complete reenactment of that battle using Pokemon Showdown. So let me just re-clarify, this is not a simulator, this was an actual legit battle at a real live tournament. This is just sort of a reenactment of it using the programming and graphics of Pokemon Showdown. It also displays the full EVs and exact IVs of all the Pokemon in the battle, which is actually pretty awesome. And since IV battles are almost impossible to do in 5th gen, this is actually pretty nice. I really like this feature. So I guess I should show you what the team I used was, and I'll see you then when I introduce things. Now, just out of respect for my opponent, I'm not going to show their team's movesets and IVs, although if you look this battle video up on PokerCheck, you will be able to see them. Well, yeah, they were pretty crazy, actually. Most of his IVs were 30 to 31, but, yeah, I guess I'll be back when I'm on the PokerCheck site and showing off my stuff. So, here I am on the PokerCheck site for this battle. And if you look, you can check the video number right there where it says video ID. It's probably going to show up kind of small, but that should look alright. So anyway, here is me and my opponent. They are, for some reason, using a female trainer in the game, but they were male in real life. And for some reason this thing says we've both got American games, but actually ours were Australian, so that's kind of stupid. I don't know why it's doing that. Now, I actually don't understand why there are 2 ID numbers listed there. Oh, unless... Actually, let me just check something. No, actually, no, it's not that I'm using Pokemon from 2 different trainers, which I actually am. It seems like there are actually 2 ID numbers. Maybe one of them is my secret ID. I'm not sure, but the one with the 6 in it is my actual ID number in the game. Anyway, so you'll see the Pokemon I used and the Pokemon my opponent used. So, as you can see here, this was Sun versus Rain. I decided to go into this tournament with a Sun team, just because, you know, VGC, it's doubles, and I wanted to kind of be originals, and I knew that Sun teams were kind of overlooked most of the time. So I had a Sun team, and, well, turned out he had a Rain team. What was interesting was, we both kept our main weather users back, so it actually wasn't obvious that that either of us was using a weather team. We were both trying to hide the fact that we had weather teams, so this battle turned out to be quite interesting, mind game-wise. Now, if you just go past the battle there, I'll just show you my party. Again, out of respect for my opponent, I'm not going to show you theirs. But, okay, so here's Virizion. Just a slight thing. I tend not to nickname my Pokemon, so most of my Pokemon aren't nicknamed. But anyway, here's Virizion. Now, Virizion was added to this team specifically to counter... and re-recording this for the 3rd time because I was an idiot and saved over my last thing. But anyway, so Virizion was pretty much made to counter Rain and Tyranitar, basically. And if you'll check its stats there, yeah, pretty much jolly, justified, holding an expert belt, maxed out attack and speed, pretty standard. I synchronized for that jolly nature, by the way. And, yeah, look at those IVs. They're actually pretty nice. The 31 speed IV was really the only one I was concerned about, because speed is really the only stat that matters right down to the 1 point. Well, that and HP. Still, I got a pretty decent IV in attack and also in defense out of the deal. Bear in mind, what's particularly amazing out of this was that this was in fact my third reset of Verizion. Yeah, the first time it got the wrong nature, so yep, scrap that one. The second time I accidentally knocked it out, but that turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because the third time it was jolly and had the perfect speed IV and good IVs elsewhere. So anyway, moveset, Stone Edge. I was a little iffy about Stone Edge at first. In the end though, that move has saved my life several times. I really love that move. It's actually been really good for me, and I haven't actually missed with it when my life has depended on it yet. So that's interesting. Protect, because everything in double battles needs to have Protect. Leaf Blade for slaying Polytoads, and Close Combat for slaying Tyrannotars. And next we have Cresselia. I didn't actually have to do a lot of breeding for this team, because most of it consisted of legendaries, so yeah. Cresselia, Relaxed Nature, which I also synchronized for, Leftovers in a Master Ball. Yes, that is in fact a legit Master Ball. I just thought, you know, this isn't Aroma, but you get 2 Master Balls in Black and White 2 anyway, and, well, screw it. Resetting was taking too long, so I thought I'd just chuck a bunch of Master Balls. And yeah, I ended up with those IVs. I kind of wanted a low speed IV. The funny thing was, I actually did get one with a perfect speed IV once, except it was Relaxed Nature, so that's pretty stupid. As for why Relaxed, well, initially I was considering giving this thing Trick Room, just to counter the Trick Room of other Trick Room teams, but in the end that wasn't necessary, so I didn't end up doing that. Still, it's not like Cresselia really needs speed anyway. Its job is to be a gigantic freaking tank, which it does really well, and as the supporter of the team. So, anyway, maxed out HP, put more effort into defense than special defense. You'll see why a bit later. And by a bit later, I mean now. So look at the moves. Helping Hand, always useful in double battles. I love putting at least one Helping Hand user on all my doubles teams. It's a really great move. Light Screen, this is why I invested more in defense than in special defense. Light Screen is great. It's actually been a lifesaver a few times. Always useful to have one of these too. Moonlight, because it gets increased healing in Sun. And Icy Wind, for the speed reductions. And because, hey, it does pretty well against dragons. And here are the other 2 in my team. So, this Ninetales, now of course every Sun team's got to have a Drought Ninetales. Interestingly, this Ninetales is actually not mine. This was kindly provided by a member of my anime society in my uni. And yeah, I really couldn't be bothered to get one off the Dreamworld. But yeah, to this person who'll remain anonymous in this video, thanks for this. This Ninetales has been really great. So yeah, Timid Nature with perfect HP, special attack, and speed. Of course, this one was bred for. So yeah, I ended up maxing out its HP, because I kind of wanted this thing to be bulky. I put on a Focus Sash anyway, which actually has saved my life a few times, because still it's kind of hard to take Earthquakes or Stone Edges. Pretty good at taking special hits, though. So, yeah, now you'll see for the moves. Heat Wave, Energy Ball, pretty standard. Protect, again, pretty standard. Need to keep my Sun user alive, after all. And Disable. Now, the one I got given did actually have Hypnosis from the start, so I could have used that, but I wanted to go with the surprise factor of Disable more. Disable can really screw over opponents when it's properly timed, and I like the combo with Protect. Use Protect to scout them. If they use something dangerous, like, say, Earthquake, that happens a lot, you're generally fast enough to disable it next turn. So, yeah, always useful doing that. And yeah, it's helped me quite a few times. Heatran, yet another legendary. I picked this one up over at Reversal Mountain. And this one I gave a bit of a weird effort spread. The reason for this is, well, actually I should explain the nature first. The reason for the mild nature, yes, this was a conscious choice. The reason for the mild nature was because at the time, I was tossing up whether or not to give this thing Explosion backed with a normal gem. So I didn't want an attack lowering nature for that. In the end, I decided not to go with that, and I haven't actually tried Explosion. I still have the option of using it later on if I want to, but you know what? I probably aren't going to need it, considering it's been nerfed in this generation. Plus, Air Balloon has helped me a few times, so yeah. And as for the effort points, speed. I set the speed at a bit of a weird number. I kind of like this 101 number for level 50s. What it means is that when that gets doubled by something like Tailwind, for example, you are guaranteed to outrun plus nature base 130s. They reach a maximum of 200, so you need 201 or above to outrun them when your speed's doubled. The reason I did this is, well, you won't be seeing it in this battle, but one of the other Pokemon in this team is a Lilligant with Entrainment Chlorophyll, so I can give this thing Chlorophyll for double speed. And yet its speed is still low enough to make use of the opposing team's Trick Room if possible, so it's quite a versatile member of the team. As for moves, Protect, because, yeah, saves me against Earthquake sometimes when my balloon is gone. Heat Wave for, double hitting the opponent as usual. Flamethrower for when I really need to hit one specific opponent. I'm not going to use Fire Blast, sorry. The accuracy is just bound to screw me over. And Earth Power, mostly for taking out opposing Sun teams. So, yeah, that's pretty much my team. And I guess it's time for the battle now. Just one, of course, you already know the outcome of this battle, but watch it anyway, because it was really interesting. The battle swung pretty much everywhere. There were times when, because this was a live tournament, I could actually hear what they were saying, there were times when my opponent was actually muttering to themselves, "This is bad." Yeah, there were times when I had them on the back foot, and there were times when he completely had me on the back foot, so, yeah, completely kept switching around all the time, so, very, very good battle, and I recommend you watch it. And because it swung pretty much every which way, it reminded me of a certain other series. Impressive turnarounds, comebacks, and because of that, I thought I'd give a little appropriate mood music to this battle. So, enjoy.